Kakalosh Boker Tov, Shabbat Tov. We're just going to do a very quick recap of what we learned yesterday. We were speaking about that if the day is too early, which means that it's too early on Erev Shabbat, so therefore when a woman comes and she does a Lakat Nerot, it's not like throughout the entire year that if she's going to do a Lakat Nerot later on, so therefore she doesn't need to accept upon herself Shabbat. If it's too early, in order to show that the candles are being lit for the Shabbat, she has to accept upon herself Shabbat. That is what's brought down in the Shulchan Aruch. So for example, if a woman would light by Plag mincha, since it's so early into Friday, that it's so early before Shabbat, she would have to accept upon herself Shabbat. The exception to this rule is brought down is that, for example, somebody else could accept Shabbat instead of her. So for example, let's say she would need to come and take a car. So therefore somebody else is at home. That person at home can accept upon themselves Shabbat when the woman is coming and lighting the candles of Shabbat. And then this woman could go by car or could go anywhere she wants, because as long as there's one person that's accepting upon themselves Shabbat with the Lakat Nerot, there won't be a problem whatsoever. Remember, if it's closer to Shikiyah, closer to sunset, you don't need this. She can make the condition that she doesn't accept upon herself the Shabbat when she's lighting candles, and everyone knows that it's so close to Shikiyah, she's doing it for Shabbat. Here we're talking about it's very early, so it's by Plag mincha, and therefore it's very early. There is another exception to the rule that of David Yosef brings down, which is a beautiful exception. And he says, if the minhag of the place is that the majority of people, or a lot of people, they do early Shabbat. So we actually went through yesterday, we said that actually the majority of the Beit Knesset here, they do early Shabbat. There are later minyanim as well, but you will have an early Shabbat in every single Beit Knesset. So therefore what happens is that therefore when you're accepting upon your, meaning when you're lighting the candles for Shabbat at Plag mincha, we all know that you're doing it for Shabbat. And therefore, since we all know, you don't have to accept upon yourself Shabbat again. And again, that means you make the condition, which means that she'll light the candles, but it has to be after Plag. Remember, the earliest Plag is 6:50, which means that the woman would have to come and light the candles at 6:50. She could light with a bracha, and then she makes the condition that she's not accepting upon herself the Shabbat. And then what happens is she'll be able to continue doing melacha or whatever it is that she would need to do, just like a regular Shabbat later on. Because since a lot of people do Shabbat, early Shabbat, it is still recognizable that she's accepting and she's doing these things for Shabbat, and therefore she can accept upon herself Shabbat later on.